All right, man. We're live.
Hey, we're live.
We're live on YouTube. Welcome to the show, everybody. We got P. Holden here, general manager of the fake Orioles. I'm his brother Mike. We're going to drink some Baltimore beers and talk about his fake baseball team. And first of all, just a quick update on the fake Orioles. You guys, 2 seasons ago in 2027, you lost to the Cubs in the World Series.
Yeah, man.
Was that 4-1 or something? Was that, I forget how many games that went.
I think both of them were 5-game series. I think both are World Series.
And then this year it was to the Brewers.
Yeah.
And you lost again 4-1. And man, those guys can hit, dude. Those bats were crazy in that series.
Yeah. They're 3-4-5. They've drafted well. They were bad forever.
And so after, all right, we got a chatter in here. Kenneth, thanks for stopping by. Yeah, this place is packed because you're on with PF Holden, general manager of the fake Orioles.
And you talking about what Baltimore beer we're drinking?
Oh yeah, I'm drinking Snow Pants by Union.
Cool.
Courtesy of you, actually. You got me this beer.
Yeah, I bought a 6-pack, and I gave you 2. I drank my 4 already. Not tonight.
But it's good snowstorm beer.
No, it's great snowstorm beer. I had it yesterday.
Yeah, what kind of beer do you have right now?
It's Monument Brewing.
Oh yeah.
It's a sour. It's called Lemon and Lime.
I like Monument.
I don't know if this is the second time I bought this beer of theirs. I don't know if I've ever had any other beers of theirs.
I've had Pagoda, which is a pale ale or IPA.
Okay.
Which is really good. I like that one a lot.
Right.
And then I'm trying to think if I feel like I've had one more of their beers.
Okay.
Kenneth is drinking Old Forester 100.
Is that a whiskey?
Yeah, we're going to need some more details here, Kenneth. If you could put something in the comments, we're going to throw it up on the screen. So you guys lost. So you lost to the Cubs in the World Series. You lost to the Brewers in the World Series. Now you're going into 2029. What is it? What year are we in?
2029.
2029. And you have had to go out and find a new second baseman because you lost Cole Tucker, which is a really huge guy to lose. Wasn't he like six something WAR?
Yeah. Yeah, he was 6.7 WAR, I believe.
And then I was watching your video the other day. I think I was watching it last night, the one you put up where you did the off-season update, and you even offered him like 40-something million for 1 year.
Yeah, I tried to get him on a 1-year deal because I had a ton of budget room for 1 year, but he wouldn't bite.
And so what happened? Your owner right now just gave you a big budget bump this season, and so suddenly you have a bunch of money you could spend if you want to?
Yeah.
Okay, got it. So, but you don't want to give him too much money. You don't want to give him too much money over too many years because, one, you don't want to commit to a guy who's that old, but also did you not have the budget in the coming years also?
I had less budget room, fewer dollars, but also have, like, in the years coming up, multiple guys who are going to get more expensive.
Okay. So
like Bob Maldonado,
the future of the franchise.
Right.
I'm here for the Bob Maldonado, Dylan Carlson window. Like, I think that's when if you're going to win this thing, it's going to be in that window.
Yeah, a little spoiler alert, but early in 2029, we signed Bob long term.
Oh, cool. Yeah, do you want to? So 2029, you're not doing an opening day on?
No, I already started it.
Live broadcast. and I don't want to give too many spoilers out because I know you're probably going to do another update soon, but is there anything you can tell us about how 2029 unfolds?
Everybody gets hurt and a lot of dudes suck. That's the headline so far. But Bob Maldonado is still a beast.
Okay.
Does that affect
So this is
anything?
like one of those-
I have my screen up. I brought the game up in front of me. That doesn't affect anything with my camera, right?
No, can you do it? Is it giving you an option to share your screen?
No, I don't. Not that I see. I can share my screen, but I was just going to pull it up to see what Bob's contract was. You want to see what I signed him? You want to know what I signed him to?
Yeah.
So he was still 1 year away from arbitration.
I'm going to ask you about arbitration in a minute because I have questions about that. But go ahead, tell us about Bob first.
Bob turned 23 in May of 2029. I'm in June.
Okay.
I signed him to an 8-year deal worth $107 million. He is an opt-out after year 6.
Got it.
So
that sucks because there's a good chance he's going to try to opt out, right, and go get like mega bucks from the Yankees or something.
Yeah, probably. So the year before his 6th year, so he's making 1.4, then 5, then 9 million. And then it goes 15, 16, 16 million. And then he can opt out. And the last 2 years are 22.5 million each.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, all right. Can you explain something to me? I got to watch the video again, and then I've been meaning to ask you this, but I bet other people have this question.
I can try.
What is your strategy, or tell us how you do it and what you're accomplishing when you buy out their arbitration years, basically? Like, what is it? How does it work?
Well, it depends on if you're just signing them for 1 year or if you're signing them for many more, right? So there are a couple ways. What's that?
I was just, explain it to me, like if you were to explain it to like a newcomer to OOTP and how they would approach arbitration, like how arbitration, because I know you learned a ton about how Major League Baseball works in terms of like arbitration and things like that by playing this game.
Right.
Explain, sort of take it from the top in like 30 seconds on that part.
Sure. And to answer Stefan's question, Bob will be 30 years old. We can opt out. So there are two ways to do it, though. So one is you can just sign one arbitration year at a time, right? So there's a little bit of exceptions, but I'll just speak because arbitration, there are a couple like technicalities to it, but generally players their 4th, 5th, and 6th year of Major League service time are arbitration eligible. Sometimes it'll be their 3rd year. Sometimes it'll also be their 7th, but for some simplicity's sake, we'll say 4th, 5th, and 6th. So if I have a guy who gets to arbitration, at that point, I either can say, cool, I'm going to try to sign him for like 6 years to buy out some free agent years, right? Say a guy's entering his 1st year of arbitration. He's got 3 years left. Sign him for 6 years. So because oftentimes the advantage of doing that is you at that point, and you see real major league teams do this too. You'll get his free agent years for cheaper because you're giving him certainty, right? You're saying like, hey, we'll guarantee these 6 years because when they're in arbitration, their contract's not guaranteed. Like if you blow out your knee in your first year of arbitration, you never play again, you're not getting any contract the next year. But if a team says,
right,
hey, we're going to pay you for these 6 years, 3 of them are free agent years, and you're probably going to get like 70% of what you'd get on the free agent market. At least at that point, you're guaranteed whatever, $90 million over the course of your life, even if you blow out your knee tomorrow.
Right.
So you can buy.
You give them more money in the arbitration years, also, but less money in the free agent years, or
I'm trying to differentiate between like out of the park and out of the park. No, you can normally get them for about their arbitration estimate.
Right.
You don't necessarily have to overpay for those. Sometimes a little bit, but definitely less on the free agent years.
Okay, got it. And so if you've got a prospect and it's somebody you want to keep, like Bob, or somebody who is going to get really expensive, once you have identified the fact that, okay, I want to keep this guy and he's about to get really expensive, this is the strategy you take to sign the guys. And then you kind of keep them until their early 30s, and then you start avoiding long-term contracts with most of the dudes. Like you're about to have that situation with Ryan Mountcastle.
Yeah, he's 32 now. I normally will go to like age 32 if I sign long-term deals. But yeah, normally not beyond that. And out of the park, it seems, especially age 30, 31, 32. That's when it can get ugly fast.
Are there going to be some guys like with your Orioles franchise, like Ryan Mountcastle? I know in one of your videos you recently talked about, you've said two different things and they kind of conflict for me. So you talked about how this might be his last year with the O's.
Right.
But then you've previously talked about how you like to keep guys for a while.
Right.
And so I know you like that continuity. And I know Mountcastle, for you and your franchise, he's climbing up the Orioles record books in a lot of categories. Yeah. So are you tempted to like try to keep him longer than you might keep another guy, or do you just have to
honestly I've probably already kept him longer. Like, you know, if I was just looking to have like the best possible team I could and make every trade I could in the game and not care about keeping guys long term, you know, to like have like continuity, I would have traded him probably like 3 years ago. So, but now he's 32. Has been league average for like 3 years. I feel like I've given him his due as a long-time Oriole.
So it might be time to move on. That related to that, JP's asking, so is no one going to be around long enough to have their fake O's jersey retired?
No, I don't think that's the case. I mean, Mountcastle. So I'm just looking. So Mountcastle's been with me since 2020. I mean, this is 2029. You know, Gunnar Henderson's still there. He's been there since the beginning. Carlson has been with me for 4 seasons now. Asa Lacy's been with me since 2020. Patino has been with me for 4 or 5 seasons now. So no, I mean, yeah, I've got plenty of dudes who have been around a while with the franchise. I mean, Mountcastle, yeah, is in the top 10 in a lot of team offensive stats, and Durbin Feltman, my closer, is in the top 10 for both saves and appearances in Orioles history. So there's some jerseys you can get.
Is there anybody right now in your O's franchise, or either that you currently have or that you've had in the past, that you think has had a good enough career with you that they would have their number out in the courtyard, where Earl Weaver, Frank Robinson,
the statue?
Well, there's the statues inside the gate. They've got the statues, but then they have the numbers outside by the ticket office.
Oh.
I think it's all the same. But, like, is Mountcastle at that level?
I mean, like, just, I mean, he's in the top 10 in, I think, like, doubles, home runs, and RBIs. And I think he's going to crack the top 10 in hits, too. So,
potentially –
yeah.
Especially, I mean, if he can win a World Series.
Yeah, I'm trying to. I want to pull up Adam Jones and see what his compare a couple numbers. There was a question in there about somebody trading a prospect. Will you read that?
I've got it on screen right now from Inside Baseball.
Cool. What's the question?
It says, I was offered the number 7 prospect, but he's 25 in Double-A still, and his potential has dropped from 70 to 55 over the last 2 years, but the offer was for only a 50 reliever. Will he turn into anything?
I mean, tough to say. If he's number 7, 55 is still a pretty good player.
How old's that reliever, I'm wondering, who's a 50 reliever? Is that reliever like a stud and a big part of – because relievers are so easy to get. I mean, you can pick them up in free agency or just kind of throw some other guys who are killing it in AAA in there.
Can he be a starter too, or is he only a reliever? All right, so here, keep these numbers in mind. So Adam Jones in his O's career, right? His games here. You want me to write this down? So I don't have like the way to split this. Oh wait, I can't compare. I can compare players, but not just their Oriole numbers. I don't think.
Okay.
So Jones played in 1,613 games. He had 31.1 WAR. This is just his O's stats, right? He had 1,781 hits, 263 home runs, and a 107 OPS plus.
Okay.
Cool. All right. So I wrote those down. So now I'm
You're
going
gonna
back.
compare that to Mountcastle just to see where they stack up.
Yeah. So Mountcastle games right now is at 1266, and Jones was 1613. So he's like 2 seasons behind him.
Okay.
Jones was at 31.1 more. Mountcastle's only at 20.5.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I mean, the last, so since 2025, he's gone 1.3, 3.0, 1.4, 1.5. And then, not to spoil anything, but in 2029 so far, in 64 games, he's negative 0.5.
Oh, man. I have a feeling Ryan Mountcastle's fake O's career is winding down.
Yeah. No team would be keeping him next year.
No. Hey, Inside
Jones
Baseball gave us some more details. So that
Cool,
reliever's 24. That reliever's 24 and has a 55 potential, not a starter.
Hold on one second. Let me finish this.
Sorry. Tell us more about your fake baseball team.
Yeah. The hits, Jones was 1781, Mountcastle's 1478. Home runs, Jones 263, Mountcastle 238. OPS plus, Mountcastle's 111 and Jones was 107. So now I don't think he's getting his number retired, but he was a good Oriole for a few years and was around for a while.
Yeah.
All right, so,
he and Adam Jones, neither of them are getting their number out in the plaza.
No, I don't think so. So he's saying the reliever is 24 and a 55 potential.
Right.
And he can't be a starter. So I guess he's got low stamina or only 2 pitches maybe.
Yeah. So
I don't know. What position? I mean, I would trade most any 24-year-old reliever who's 24 for a prospect who's 25 with a 55 potential.
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to know what position this guy plays.
Yeah,
Inside Baseball, but I almost don't care what position this guy plays. I think I'm making the trade for the shot at a guy who's right.
Yeah, pretty much always trade relievers is my philosophy.
Always trades relievers.
Oh, the prospect is a starting pitcher? Yeah, I'd absolutely do that.
The guy, so he's going to trade a reliever for a starter who's the number 7 prospect in baseball. I'd do that, right?
Yeah.
I mean, neither might the reliever he's got and the starting pitcher might not pan out, but I figure you got to take that shot.
Even if the reliever pans out, you can replace him every year with a similar guy.
It's so hard to find the guys who can be the starting pitchers who have the stamina and who have the mix of pitches who don't have enough pitches. That was that was one of the things I really liked in the video you did where you talked about what you'd like in OOTP 22. One of the things you talked about was like having them be able to do things like add another pitch.
Yeah, I mean that like player development's fallen behind. Player development in real life, like the last 10 years, is like taken off, right? Like that's like the new, that not the new money ball because that sounds dumb, but that's where teams are gaining an advantage now is in that player development, and it's changed a ton. And it's the same in Out of the Park, which it seems with like some minor tweaks they could give us a little bit more control.
So we got a couple questions, but hold on. Inside Baseball is giving us one more piece of information here. The Rays are offering it.
The Rays.
Do they have a GM who, like, you always get those GMs who are like, there's some GMs, where you feel like, oh, I can always rip this guy off. And then there's other guys you got to watch out for.
Yeah, I've made lots of deals with the Padres, blockbusters. That's my main guy. Like
bringing Manny Machado back to Baltimore. Thank you for doing that. I really appreciate that.
That's right. I wonder where he's in 2029. I don't know if he signed anywhere.
If I'm Inside Baseball, I still make this trade, even if the Rays are known for fleecing people. I still do.
Yeah, absolutely. If you can get a starter starter that good, and you're just giving up a reliever, I'm definitely doing it.
It's too easy to get relievers to not make that trade.
Right. Agreed.
Another question. Inside Baseball, though, I'd love an update. If you're either in the OOTP Reddit or you want to post a comment later on another episode of PF Holden's series, I would love to know how this trade pans out over the next 3 years. And then, of course, over their careers. Let us know if the number gets retired. Alex has a question. Tips to build a small market team like Baltimore. Relatively small market team.
Yeah. I mean, like with any team, get an awesome scout. And
hold on.
That comment.
Another question. Okay, we're gonna get to this guy's question next.
Yeah, stand by. Don't go anywhere.
Probably don't talk to them about the fact that you were watching two brothers talk about one's fake baseball team.
Two grown men.
Two grown men. We're gonna start with that, but hold on.
Let's get back. Guy's name.
Let's get back to the easier question. Let's get back to young. Yeah, this guy. First of all, you might want to change the username there. Don't show them that.
Yeah, you can get my number, but why don't I give you my YouTube handle too?
We'll get back to that one. All right, Alex. I don't know what's the tougher question here. How do you get girls to like you, or how do you build a successful small market team in out of the park baseball? Pat, over to you.
Yeah, I mean, you got to have a great scout. You got to draft really well, and just avoid free agency, right? Like, I hadn't signed anyone. I hadn't. This guy. I haven't gone out and signed any free agent to a big deal. The biggest thing I did was finally in 2028, when my budget had increased big time, I signed Patino to like a 5-year deal where he's averaging like 25 mil a year. Are you bad at drafting? I mean, I've been really bad at drafting some years too. Like, I don't know, like, especially now that I'm drafting like in the late 20s, early 30s, 30th in the rounds, I'm just pulling up something. Like, my drafting sucks sometimes for sure.
You also had a lot of years where girls didn't like you.
Right. So like
that out. You've got that figured out, and then you've taken a small market team to the World Series 2 seasons in a row. So good for you, man. Good
thanks,
for you.
Dude. Like, my first overall pick each year, like, not all of them made the majors. Like, 2020 had Lacey. He did. Chisholm, 2021, barely played for me. Perkins is a reliever. Angeletta in 2023 is good. And then Jansen is a bust in 2024. And the rest is too early to say. But I would say definitely invest. I think Alex was one of the guys who commented about my farm system being good. And 3 of my top 5 guys are international free agent prospects. What I do each year with the international free agents is, this might be a little bit cheap, but I find who I think the best player is every year on the first day, and I offer him the full $5 million, and I don't mess around. So I just get the top international free agent every year.
No, it's clear you don't mess around. We know this.
Yeah.
We've been watching your team for years now.
Except when it comes to getting girls.
Also,
oh wow, Robert's there from Sydney, Australia. Isn't it? It's got to be like 8:30 in the morning there, right?
I think it's like 14 hours ahead of us. Yeah, something like that. It's either like 9:30, 10:30 in the morning. Please let us know, Robert. We could Google it, but we'd rather hear you tell us than post it in the comments.
But don't. Oh yeah, Alex, you got to invest in international free agents, and just do one dude each year, just $5 million right off the bat. Yeah, but Robert, don't tell us what happens if anything cool happened in the last 12 to 14 hours. I want to be surprised.
In the future, yeah.
Yeah.
It's complicated. 12:26 p.m. It's 16 hours. Man, I was off.
So 16 hours? Oh, I thought the most they ever got. Oh, he must be in like, what part of Australia is that, right? Because like
it's on the East Coast, north of Melbourne. Come on, man.
Where did he say he is? Did he say where he is?
I thought he said he was in Sydney.
No, that's the young B1. Oh, he did say Sydney. You're right. I didn't realize Sydney ever got that far out. Stefan's in Europe. It's 2:30 a.m. there. JP wants some Miami Cornhusker merch, as we all do. Genius rebranding.
Yeah, there's just weird things that happen in the game too with that. With the Cornhuskers, I think I had the Cornhuskers happen too. It wasn't.
They became the Cornhuskers?
I think I had a Cornhuskers rebranding in my like OOTP 19 or 20 franchise. I don't know if it's Cornhuskers.
Miami became the Cornhuskers? Or
no,
like
it's somebody else. And it might not have been the Cornhuskers, but it definitely did not. The mascot didn't match the city. But Cornhuskers is perfect for Miami. I mean, we know there's just lots of corn getting grown down there.
Yeah, as we all know. Much like the Midwest.
So, wait, what's going on? Robert says, got to watch the Sydney Blue Sox play last night. Unfortunately, Manny Ramirez was out of the lineup due to injury. I need more information here. And also, Robert, if your franchise is, if you got screen grabs and you, or if you're on YouTube, I need to know because I need to watch Manny Ramirez killing it down in the Australian League.
Is he talking about real life? Is Manny playing in Sydney?
Is this real life? I don't know. I got to know. Robert, is this real life or are you talking about your own franchise?
Yeah. Are you the general manager of the Sydney Blue Sox?
We got a couple other things. Hold on. All right, got a real question now too about, in addition to the very real question about how do I get girls to like me?
From Young Bunch.
Young bitch wants to know, I was trying to play as the Mets and the Yankees traded me Stanton and 3 prospects, including Dominguez, for a 37-year-old first baseman. You pumped up the trade difficulty pretty high, right, Pat?
Yeah, I mean, Stanton is one of those players, and there are a few when you start the game that the team will do anything to get rid of their contract, like crazy deals. Which is one of the reasons I do like heavily favors prospects and very hard trading difficulty. But yeah, I've messed around with it. Yeah, and I could get like Stanton and Garrett Cole from the Yankees just for taking on Stanton's contract, basically.
But this was even after you changed the difficulty?
No.
Before, okay.
Yeah.
We got update from Robert in Sydney, Australia, and he says, no, this was in person.
Oh, Manny Ramirez is playing in baseball in Australia? If I was retired from Major Leagues, I would absolutely go to Australia to play baseball. That seems like a good life choice from Manny.
That's 2 Mannys who've made good life choices in real life. Because I really respect the fact that Manny Machado decided he just wants to spend several years playing shortstop in San Diego.
Third base, yeah.
Third base. No, wait, did he? Is he really playing third base there? I thought the whole reason he picked them was because he wanted to move back to shortstop.
No, Tatis is the shortstop.
Got it. I can't keep up because the things blend together between real life and then watching your franchise unfold. And I just can't. I actually pay more attention to your fake Orioles than I do to real baseball. So.
Yeah, no, I had trouble when baseball season was going on keeping it straight. I didn't play as much because I was too busy winning my fantasy baseball leagues. So
I'm glad that fantasy baseball ended, so it freed up your time to focus on the fake Orioles and OOTP tutorials.
Right.
Oh, hey, what's going on with Jeffrey Lebowski? Because you've posted several videos on his career, but is he currently on pause while you focus on the O's, or what's up?
Yeah, I haven't done anything with him since the end of his first season.
Okay. So end of first season, he won the World Series. Like, he was good enough that he took the Rockies to the World Series and they won the thing.
Yeah.
Nice. All right, and he's only 19?
I think he turned 19 during the season, yeah.
During the season. Okay, cool.
You got a couple more questions. There was one about, is it cheating?
Oh, is it cheating? Let's go. Hold on. Let me go back up. Yeah, we're trying to get to all these here. Inside Baseball, is it cheating to sign free agents just to trade them for other players?
I mean, cheating? No. I mean, I don't know. I wouldn't do it. Doesn't seem. I try to police myself to keep it somewhat realistic, but I say play the game however you want. If
right.
That's fun.
Are you trying to mimic real life, or are you trying just to have fun because it's and
have the best team you can? Yeah. Do what you want. I wouldn't do it, but if you want to play the game that way, I say go for it.
I think we got relevant advice right now in the comment on the screen.
The dude abides, yeah.
Yeah.
Oops.
Got another one. Normally I do it once a year, but if someone is really good, I move him.
That was a response to a question right above by Young B. Wunsch.
Oh, yeah. Hold on.
How often do you guys so, I mean, in mass, I do it like at the All-Star break and then in the off season, like big promotions. But I check my minor leagues pretty often, and like I'll do it. I'll look monthly and sometimes promote 1 or 2 guys if they're guys just obviously just killing it. I normally wait until like the 2-month mark into the season, right? Like late May to promote anyone. But then at that point, I like monthly, I'll promote guys, but most of them come in July when guys have had like half a season.
Right. So, that's kind of mimicking real life, right? I mean,
right.
You see guys, I don't know. I'm not really, maybe I'm not following it closely enough, but it just, when I'm watching prospects move up, usually you don't see guys getting bumped up in May, right? It's a little bit later in the season.
Normally you spend at least half a season at a level, I think.
So, the other thing I've done playing the game is I usually kind of follow that, where I move them up in like June or July, but I do look in like maybe the end of April and make sure I haven't put somebody at the wrong place. Right. So I'll move people up that early if I realize I missed something in the off season or I just made a bad call.
Right. Or sometimes there'll be a guy who I might have moved up at like the last month of the season and he did really well at a level, but he's young. I'm like, well, I don't want to move him up again. But then if he comes out and has a great month to start the season, I'll move him up quickly in that.
Mm-hmm.
In that scenario. There are a couple questions. Oh, there it is.
I've got one from David up here. In my game, there are teams that are offering me average 50th potential players for my 20 potential minor league player. How is this good for the opposing team? And I want your expert opinion, Pat. My hunch, though, is sometimes I've seen them try to trade for guys based on their stats, where they've had a really good year.
Yeah, for sure. And you can adjust that in the settings, how much how the AI evaluates players, whether you want it more stats or scouting based, you can adjust that. I don't know, David, if you've switched that around. I don't have that happen too often. I normally have the opposite happen. They want to trade me a 20 potential player for like good prospects. The trade offers from the computer normally are garbage. But yeah, Stefan says maybe they do it because they need to get rid of players on their 40-man. Yeah, that could be. I don't know.
Or Rule 5 guys. I find that a lot of times too. I look at a trade and I'll see that there's somebody trying to offer me somebody and it's somebody that they don't want to have around when they hit the Rule 5 draft that December.
Yeah, absolutely. That definitely happens.
So, which sometimes is when you're rebuilding, it actually can work pretty well. I've had actually some success with this where they're offering you Rule 5 guys they don't have room for. But if you're rebuilding and you've been moving a lot of pieces and getting prospects back for them, then you might have room for more guys to protect on a 40-man.
Right.
So, let's see. So there was another one here from JP. Patriotic JP. With flying the American flag right there.
How do you manage the rest of the minor leaguers who have no shot at making the big leagues? Like, how do I determine where they should play? Or, I keep them around. I keep them around because you need filler and you need depth, right? And I think using the drop-down menu that shows their potential value or potential rating at each level is helpful to know maybe where they should be. But, you're going to have dudes. You're going to have plenty of dudes at every level that you're never going to use at your major league level who are just kind of filler. And I cut them, I don't know. When do I cut them? It depends. Like if they're blocking guys from playing, but they have no hope of ever making my team, I'll cut them. Or if I have too many guys at a certain level, I'll cut them. I know, but I don't want to cut them and then have to go out and sign like 5 dudes to fill their spots. I'll just keep them on my team.
Yeah, I do those two things. One is I cut them or I try to trade them first, and then I cut them if I need to, if I can't get anything good for them. If they're blocking somebody else who needs the at-bats, who has actual major league potential. Right. Or the other thing is, sometimes I just have a guy who's making it at one level, not able to make it in the next level. And because of their age, it just isn't going to work. Like, sure, it's really cool when you have that 32-year-old reliever come up and he's lights out, whatever, in July for your team or August or whatever. But like a lot of times you have to at some point get rid of them because they're taking away somebody else's opportunities. Let's see. Inside Baseball wants to know if you've ever gotten fired in real life, like from a real job or from your managerial job. I'd like both answers. Can we get both answers?
I think the answer is no to both.
Good for you, man. But also, if anybody has ever gotten fired from their real job, which I have before, and also I don't think I've been fired in OOTP, but it's perfectly fine. And this is a safe place for you to talk about it in the comments. Career advice, either fictional career advice in a baseball game or in real life.
See if I can get this
We're
little
here for
shadow
you.
in here. Got lots of shadows going on.
Got a lot of shadows. I think
Yeah.
you need to invest in a professional set of lighting there. If this is really going to be, if YouTube is your thing, man.
It's just like I think the hat is causing like the shadows or something with the lighting. The MacBook Air camera is just not ideal. Hold on, give me a second here. We got a few more questions.
Got some more rolling in. What are you rocking? The Richmond Flying Squirrels hat?
Yeah, it is a Flying Squirrels hat.
Minor league baseball team, AA team. What were they? The Rockies?
The Giants, right? Aren't they
Giants,
the Giants?
You're right. They were the Giants. I don't know if they still are, but when we went to that game, what was that, a year and a half ago? 2 years ago? I don't remember.
Year and a half ago.
Yeah.
May 2019, yeah.
Yeah. I gotta throw this comment from Kenneth up because I really appreciate it, especially after I just told everybody that at one point in my past I was fired. This is good. This kind of counterbalances things. No, I am not a professional podcaster, but I've had, I'd say, at least a decade, actually probably a good 30 years of practice talking to my brother about our fake sports dynasties. Now we just have people watching.
There are a couple questions up there.
Questions. Yeah,
An question from Alex.
Yeah, Alex wanted to know what the one about if he had a player. He wanted to know about the Indian guru.
Yeah,
the question isn't nonsense. It's just the nonsense thing in the game where the guy goes and visits the guru. I think a lot of us have had this.
Yeah,
happen.
I think it's the one storyline that everybody gets. I've only had it happen to one guy, and the next year he like disavowed the Indian teachings and he was back to normal. It happened to DL Hall. But I have read, like, I think on the Out of the Park Reddit, there was a string of people who's basically like, yep, screwed up my star player. He went to India, came back, was never the same. So I don't think it's a good thing.
Now, do you think that, have you noticed a pattern yet in what you do when they come back? Like you just suspended Joe Mack, your backup catcher on the fake Orioles in 2029.
Yeah. I never had that option before. That's the first time I've ever taken action against a guy.
Okay, got it. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see like how that works out, like what the right answer is on how to treat the guy who goes and talks to the guru.
Right.
Who remember that there was the one guy on, I think was it on Reddit or did he comment on one of your YouTube videos? He did that amazing catcher experiment where he had the spreadsheets.
Yeah, it was on Reddit. Yeah.
Yeah. We got to find that video again. I'd like him to do an Indian guru experiment and tell us what's the best way to handle that guy.
Yeah.
Robert from Sydney, Australia, home of Manny Ramirez, has a question.
How many hours in one season? I don't know, several at least.
You want to ask your wife? She might know.
Yeah, I don't really play the game in like big chunks anymore. I find like, I don't know, like I'll do it for like 15 minutes in the morning, like before I start work or something, or I'll have like 20 minutes at lunch and I'll play it, or in the evening I'll like play it for like 30 minutes. Well, I used to play it like long stretches, just kind of zone out. I don't really do that anymore, so it's hard for me to track like how much I play. Several hours though, probably. Yeah, I'd guess. Yeah.
And however many hours we estimate we play games like this, it's usually at least 2 to 3 times that number that we actually spent on it.
Yeah.
JP,
exactly.
You stay away from fragile players.
No, not really. I don't really pay too much. I mean, not that I don't pay attention to it, but no, I don't stay away from them.
Inside Baseball wants to know, how do I make a realistic expansion draft? I did protect 25 players, but I had players unprotected. And top 100 prospects. Well,
the top 100 prospects, are you playing with the default rules? Because that normally exempts guys who have like less than a certain, like 2 or 3 years of major league service time. I did an expansion one time. I didn't have that great of players available, and I just kept it on the default, whatever that was.
Question about playing
in Seattle. Do you recommend green ballers only? I mean, I generally think power pitchers or ground ballers are the way to go. How is team? I've never done one with Seattle. I don't know how that ballpark plays, but I think ground ballers or power pitchers are the way to go in any ballpark, really.
And also considering you play half your games on the road too, and some of them are in parks where I feel like it's never bad to have a ground ball pitcher. Like, when is that bad? If your infield sucks, I mean, when is it going to hurt you?
Right. I mean, if you can get a power guy that's going to strike everybody out instead, go for that. But
yes. Yeah. Those guys are so much more expensive usually than finding the ground ballers.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah, the guys with great stuff.
What about player morale?
I play with that on. I've never had bad experiences. I find if you win over time, the rest doesn't really matter. Like,
cool.
It doesn't matter if you have a jerk on your team or anything.
So I'll get to the next question in a second, but I thought we should give a plug for the March to 1,000. What are you up to? You're almost at what? You're approaching 700 subscribers.
Something like that. 670 something, yeah.
670 something. So if you haven't subscribed yet, hit the subscribe button on the channel. Let's get this thing up to the magic number of 1,000 for YouTube and get PF Holden on his way to being a serious influencer and YouTube superstar.
That's right.
All right. Let's see. Got some other. Thomas Mitchell said the game will be better with good broadcasting. Does he mean the text that runs across the screen? If there were actual announcers like there are in other video games?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, I guess that would be kind of cool for especially when you're doing like the live broadcasts. But you're kind of the play-by-play guy when you do the O's games, and I like that. If I'm listening to I like the broadcasters on a sports video game if I'm just playing it myself, but then when you're broadcasting on YouTube or Twitch, if I watch somebody, I definitely like when I hear their voice. Yeah, that's interesting. I wonder if OOTP will add any sort of audio at some point other than crowd noise.
Yeah, I mean, and I would say, I don't know, because the game was built to not be like that live, the live in ballpark thing that wasn't even around for a while. So, but I imagine as more people play it, they'll flesh that out more.
Yeah. What's the stuff rating for a pitcher? What does it mean?
I mean, I guess, and somebody else can chime in if they think this is wrong, but I would say it's how hard a guy's pitches are to hit, basically. A pitcher's stuff. If you think of a pitcher with really good stuff, it's a guy who gets a lot of swing and misses.
All right, we got the questions coming in fast and furious now. Okay, so Mr. Mayo 1234. Not Mayo, Mr. Ayo.
Yeah.
T-Mobile is a pitcher's park.
Yeah. Then I'd say it matters less. If it's a pitcher's park, it probably matters less.
Yeah.
With ground ballers, you can probably get away with more fly ball pitchers.
Though, I mean, I guess one of the reasons I like ground ballers too is because you don't know who you're going to face in the playoffs and what their park is.
Right.
So if you're not in rebuilding mode and you're going to be in the postseason. And
Stefan is correct that in out of the park stuff corresponds to strikeouts. Like, generally, I mean, this is oversimplifying, but generally stuff is going to be how many strikeouts a dude gets. Good movement suppresses home runs, and control keeps walks down, and keeps softer contact. So, yeah.
Cool. David posted a nice comment.
Oh, thanks, David.
I love reading those comments too in your videos down below when people are talking about what they've learned about the game. And I just think it's cool, especially I love when people talk about where they're from or what team they root for. It's just awesome seeing baseball fans from wherever in the world or rooting for all these different teams and just playing this game. I just think that's one of my favorite parts. It's this little community that's kind of forming in the comments. It's really cool.
The game has a pretty loyal and intense following.
Definitely. I mean, it's an awesome game. I mean, it's my so the two things I've always liked my whole life are sports games or strategy games. When I was a kid, I either wanted to be playing whatever the sports game was that let me manage the team and be general manager, or games like Sim City and Civilization and these strategy games. And so these games are a combination of that, where it's gotten way, way more detailed in terms of the statistical and tactical side of things than whatever baseball game we were playing on Sega Genesis. But it's combined those two things for me. Let's see. Big question from JP. Are the O's moving to a 2-man booth with the Holden brothers? I don't know, man. I'll continue to post comments, especially ones that are meant to distract my brother. I'll definitely be posting comments during his game.
Sometimes you're watching with a baby in your arm or something, right?
Yes, I do. I like when you do those 7:30, 8 o'clock games because one of the kids needs to go to sleep around then, and I just have this. I'm watching it, and then watch 10 to 20 years from now, some of my kids are going to be way into this game, and they won't know why, and it's because they've heard hours of gameplay as they fell asleep. And Kenneth wants to know, okay, yeah, I'll do color commentary, which I'll try to do that at least in the comments, and then you can be the straight man in the booth. We got more comments coming in. Let's see. Juan Diego's here. I've seen Juan Diego in the comments before.
Yeah, no, he's a regular.
Yeah, man. What's up, Juan? Stefan said, yeah, every rating influences all stats in combination with the other two. And what else was he telling us? OOTP helped him learn about baseball and get interested in Major League dynamics. That's cool. Actually, something that's interesting too is I'd be curious, there's so many good baseball books that I think are really interesting if you're into OOTP.
Yeah.
That don't talk about OOTP, but obviously Moneyball and Astro Ball, and then the best team money can buy about the Dodgers.
Yeah.
There's the one about the Rays.
The extra 2%, right?
Yep. Extra 2%.
I like the only rule is it has to work.
Oh, the two guys who ran the minor league team for the season.
Yeah.
I haven't read it, but I really want to. I really want to read that.
Awesome.
Yeah, I'd love to hear what other baseball.
And it was also just great. Like the Mickey Mantle biography was awesome. The Last Boy.
I haven't read it.
Baseball has better books than any sport, I think.
Oh, Kenneth's a Mets fan.
Oh yeah, I mean their team's gonna be spending a lot of money.
Did they make are they really going to make a trade with Colorado? Have you seen these rumors?
No, what is there an Arenado rumor?
Yeah.
Oh, did that happen today? I haven't really checked any news today.
Only I saw it. Maybe it might have been yesterday or today. I can't remember.
That would be awesome.
If OTB had a non-robotic broadcasting or at least the option, people would pay much more for the game. Oh, that's interesting. That's never been what's attracted me to the game because I very rarely watch.
That's what I was going to say. I don't know if that's their target audience. I think that audience is playing the show.
Yeah, that's true. But it's interesting. I wonder if I've seen this with Football Manager. If anybody plays that game seems to gradually be getting more like FIFA, but not quite there with the graphics, but it's better than it used to be. That's not why I would play OOTP, but I can understand why some people who play it would want that, and they might be able to expand their audience if they can kind of accomplish both things. What are your thoughts? Oh yeah, this was interesting that OOTP was purchased.
Yeah. I mean, they say it's not going to change anything. They say it's basically going to be help them with distribution and like the business side of things, that the actual game won't change. I mean, it could, right? Like it's a big company. Maybe they will. Like, if that happens, that sucks. But the dudes, I mean, the people working out of the park have dedicated 20 years to it, right? Like built it from nothing up to this, I'm assuming like multi-million-dollar company probably with all their games now. Like, in terms of like what they could sell it for.
Yeah.
So whatever they want to do with it is cool by me. If they say they're going to keep making it, and I trust that they will, but if at some point they don't because of this company, like, they earn the right to do whatever they want with it. So.
Yeah, we'll see. And if somebody decides to stop making it, maybe some people will start making it again. So, is this a real life thing that the O's Rule 5 to one of Ben McDonald's interviews? I know they got two pitchers, right? In the real life 2020 O's headed into the real life 2021 season.
Right. One of the guys. Matt Christopher wrote a bunch of baseball books. I read them all.
You read every single one, man.
Yeah. Like elementary school, that was my library.
The Art of Fielding, the novel? or isn't there a baseball book, The Art of Fielding? There was also a novel that I read, The Art of Fielding, fiction. This was, I don't know, 5 or 10 years ago.
That was not a baseball book?
No, there's a lot of baseball in it, but it was not just baseball. I believe The Art of Fielding, though, was prior to the fictional novel, a book about baseball from more of a, statistical and tactical perspective.
Yeah, they have been saying they want to. There was a mobile version for some amount of time. I played it. I actually, when I was flying to Europe one time, I bought the mobile version for like $5 before the flight and got bored.
How many times you flying to Europe, man?
Once.
When I was flying to Europe one time? Okay, cool. You said it like you do it often.
No, I was explaining that's why I did it, because I had like a 9-hour flight, 8-hour flight or something. And about 20 minutes in, I gave up. I wasn't into it. I didn't think it was any good.
I did the mobile version of this game for a while before I got it on the computer. I did the one that, I don't know, I think you could do it on a phone too, but I had it on a tablet or even like whatever it was, the iTouch or something that existed before the iPhone.
Right.
And I remember, I'm just remembering something that you told me. I had it on the iPad, and it might have been because you told me how great it was. But you told me, once I told you kind of how far the iPad version went, you were like, okay, dude, never buy the computer version unless you want to lose like months of your life.
Right.
I didn't take that advice, and eventually I did lose months and months of my life. And then I go through a period where I decide, nope, I got to put this away. And then something happened. You know what draws me back into games like OOTP, even when I kind of step away?
What's that?
Is I'll start reading about real life baseball trades. Like either a real life trade deadline comes up or the winter meetings or whatever. Yeah. And I could talk to somebody about trades. And then later that day, I'm like, what if I just for a little while started up an O's rebuild?
Right.
And then 6 weeks later, why is Mike so tired? My flight to Europe's like 20 hours. Yes, from Australia, that's a hike. So most things are from there.
Yeah, nothing's too close. Yeah. I've also flown to Australia, but I didn't play out of the park.
Yes, I flew to Australia once too, but it was before I knew this game existed. I don't know if
same here.
Let's see. Super general question. Won a couple World Series with the Mariners. Slight brag. Took me like 20 seasons. But I'm now blowing it up and doing a rebuild. Any advice?
Get a good scout. Draft well. Invest in international free agents.
Cool.
Front page sports baseball. That sounds familiar.
Stefan was talking about the novel. Yes, I did read that novel. And I feel like I read like 3/4 of that novel, and I don't know what happened. I might pick that up again. Stay tuned. I'll talk to you during one of Pat's live broadcasts about that novel again. Front page sports baseball in the late 90s. I don't know if I remember that one.
I know the name. I don't think I ever played it.
I think the game I probably played the most before OOTP was Earl Weaver baseball in the 90s. I used to play that a lot on a computer, like it was a PC game. I played that.
I played Tony La Russa on Sega, RBI baseball on Nintendo, I think, right? Yeah.
What was the one that you would have played? JP was playing Earl Weaver. So what was the one you played on Sega Genesis, I guess it would have been? It was back when the Mets had like all those young dominant pitchers, Isringhausen and a bunch of dudes.
I don't know. EA Sports had a game. Was it called like Triple Play or something?
Something like that.
Yeah, I played an EA Sports game for a while. That was after their game on Sega, I think, was Tony La Russa. I think it was PlayStation 1 that I then played one. I think it was called Triple Play, maybe.
Yeah, I can't remember, but I remember there was one. And then, you'd be like in September in the heat of the pennant race, right? And then
Oh, I'd lose the whole game.
Your season would get corrupted. Yeah, man, those days seem to, for the most part, be gone. But you had that, didn't you have that happen in OOTP a few versions back where you had to, like, your hard drive got corrupted or something?
Yeah, I lost one at one time and I hadn't backed it up. Yeah.
Yeah. What's Mr. Ree talking about? The way I freak out at the slightest shred of real life O's news since OOTP is so silly. They added 4 to the 40 man, the two Rule 5 guys. And I don't know what else they did. I know they've made a couple trades of guys like just to avoid, to dump some salary, or some guys they were going to lose for nothing. Alberto, Iglesias, I don't remember who else. World Series Baseball on Sega. And then, hold on, what's this one? Status Pro Baseball from Avalon Hill, the board game that birthed it all. The one that I played like when I was a kid constantly, 2, Stratomatic, I played like crazy. And then before that, I played All-Star Baseball, the spin baseball game.
Right. There's a question about scouting baseball in real life, to which I would say anybody who wants to know more about scouting baseball in real life, there's an awesome book that came out this year. It's called Future Value, and it's written by Kylie McDaniel. Is one of the people who writes for ESPN. He's their scouting guy, and he's worked for the Braves. And the other guy is Eric, starts with an L. He writes for Fangraphs. I want to say it's Lagerhagen, but that's not right. But yeah, Future Value. I just read it a few months ago. It's awesome. It goes all through MLB scouting and also like how to scout.
Is any of what you read in that book relevant in this game? OTP?
No, I mean, it doesn't make me better at the game, no. But
I didn't know if anything in that was like, oh, I should look like for this, but I figure that it doesn't match up with the game at all.
Yeah, no.
Just all real life. Real life, man. Real life. Who has time for real life?
Yeah, got a fake team to run.
Exactly. You have a World Series to win. Based on the way it started for you so far, do you think the O's are going to the World Series for the 3rd year in a row in this game?
Definitely the talent to be, but I wouldn't say it started out that way, no. Definitely has not started out that way.
What are the chances, and if not this season, when might this happen? What are the chances you don't make the playoffs? How many years in a row have you made the playoffs?
I think every year since 2023. So I think 6 straight years. Yeah, I've made them 6 straight.
You think you're in the postseason again this year?
It's tough to say. It's early and we're not playing well, but hopefully.
And then what is going to be at what point? This is actually something for, I guess, a general OOTP question too, is like, at what point do you think a team like the one you have right now, which is pretty good, I mean, they're really good, where they're going to make the postseason almost every year, and you've got a run going. At what point do you think this team will tail off? And like, will you actually have to do a rebuild? Or do you think you could make this team stay competitive every single season and never rebuild, really?
Yeah, I don't know. That'll be interesting because I've actually never played out of the park past like 2032 or so. I think I'm coming up on the longest. And so I've never had to go into a second rebuild before.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe I'll stick with this one since we're still in a pandemic and it's winter and not doing a lot of other things. Because I'm like you, normally like eventually I'll be like, all right, I got to take this game off of my computer for like 6 months so I do other things with my spare time. But it's actually good with the pandemic. Like, not only is there not much else to do, but I feel like I've found a balance with it because I've been playing it so long now for so many months that I can step away from it if I need to.
And then get into their hockey simulator.
Right, exactly.
Kenneth wants to know 5 books to buy if I love OOTP. We'll start with Future Value.
Yeah, I mean, some of the ones we mentioned before. I mean, Moneyball's a must. Everybody's got to read Moneyball.
Yeah.
If you haven't. I like The Only Rules It Has to Work is one of my favorites. You had mentioned Astro Ball, which some people, after the whole cheating scandal, thinks it discredits the book. It's still a really fun read, though.
I think so, too. And I think a lot of what they were doing applies regardless of whether they were cheating or not.
Right. And there was one other one you mentioned.
The Best Team Money Can Buy about the Dodgers by
awesome.
Molly Knight wrote that one.
Yeah, that one's great. So is I just had it. What is it? The MVP machine.
Oh, I don't know that one.
That's about player development. So Future Value is more about like scouting. The MVP machine is more about like player development. They're both awesome.
Cool. There's another one I want to read by. There was a pitcher, like a journeyman minor league pitcher. And I got to remember the name too. I'll come back to it. I want to say it was The Longest Season or The Long Season, but I think that's something different. Anyway, stay tuned. We got another question, and then I think we got to wrap it up pretty soon. We were going to do this for like an hour, but I gotta wrap it up on my end soon. But this is fun. We should do this again.
Yeah, no, it's been fun.
David, how do you identify fake players with real players?
I don't know exactly what he means.
David, can you post another comment and explain?
Like in the game, how do I know if it's a real player or a fake player?
Or how do you, like, based on real players, tell whether a fake player is going to be any good? David, if you want to post another comment and explain a little more. He said, yeah, but I don't know if he was saying yeah to you or me.
We asked him a few questions. Yeah.
Yeah, we're throwing too much out here. I'll shut up. I'm muting. Just kidding. Well, what's the answer to both things?
We'll wait for him to follow up.
Okay, fine. In the meantime, JP wants to know your favorite baseball YouTubers, like real life baseball or fake baseball.
All right, Stefan.
Stefan says I got to sleep.
Stefan's going to sleep.
Looking forward to new content from the fakos. So am I, man. So am I.
The best baseball YouTube channel. Just making sure I have the best baseball YouTube channel is John Boy Media, JOMBOY. Look up his breakdowns. They're like 3-minute videos, normally of real things that happen. And it used to start with like when guys got tossed out of games is how I found him. And he can read lips really well, and he'll basically tell you everything they're saying. He has hot mics sometimes, especially in the empty ballparks. But he's just so good. Like, his presentation is so good, and his videos are normally 3 to 5 minutes. He's really funny. John Boy Media. I think he was big already, and then he did some stuff with the Astros cheating scandal and broke down some really good video. And then I think that's when he blew up. I mean, he was already huge, but
he was doing some stuff on whatever. I forget what website he was a part of, but he was.
He's awesome.
But he was doing the. It was something with, I want to say Madden or Tech Mobile, and I can't even remember now. But it was awesome. Yeah,
and then there's Alex, who was in here earlier, is doing a Pirates rebuild. I haven't watched any of it in a while, but I think a while back I watched some of those. It's always interesting to watch other guys rebuild. David answered.
Yeah, like if I go to 2030, there'll be players in the game. That aren't in real life.
So how do you know if they're real? I mean, one way when I go in mine now is I go and I see when the guy was drafted. Now, there will be some guys in your game that are real college or high school players, right? So I don't know how to tell you how to figure those out other than Google them. But if you go look at the player history page, if they were drafted in 2019 or signed in 2019 or before, then that's a real dude. And that's actually how he was drafted or signed. But if it was 2020 or later, then that's happened in the game. I think that's the best way I can explain it. Does that make sense?
Guys, OOTP seems to put college and maybe even some high school prospects in the pipeline so that for the first few years, you're potentially drafting real guys who haven't been drafted in real life yet.
Right.
And I love following that. Like, I like when you have some guy on the O's who, after several seasons after your rebuild, he's cracked your lineup, and then you go like, let's check in with this guy in real life. Oh, he's currently playing in low A ball with the Indians.
Like Asa Lacy? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
How close do you think the Blue Jays are from
in real life? haven't followed the off season that closely this off season. It seems like they're going to spend a lot of money. I mean, with Bichette and Guerrero, like it's probably going to come down to pitching for them, I'd imagine.
They've got, and do they still have Caleb? What's the guy?
Cavan Biggio?
Cavan Biggio, thank you.
Yeah, no, he's really good too. Bichette, Biggio, and Vlad Jr. are all probably going to be good for a long time for them.
I went to I forget what the farm team was for the Blue Jays that was AA, but I saw, this was probably 2 or 3 summers ago, I went and saw the Hartford Yard Goats play up in Connecticut.
Okay.
And their new stadium in Hartford is really cool. And Bichette and Biggio were playing, and Vlad Jr. had just been called up like the week before or maybe even days before. So we just missed seeing him. But we saw the other two. But the 3 of them were on the AA team together that year until it was probably July or August or something. And it's like, you know, like the model you follow in OOTP, Pat, promoting the dudes in July or August. They had just done it with Vlad.
That's probably the way people are going to speak to the 2029 Bowie Bay Sox with like Ben Ortega, Franklin Sanchez, and Ricky Perez down there.
I wish we could go see your fake teams in real life.
We'd be going to Bowie this year for sure.
Yeah, your
they've got like
stacked. I'd be just driving around.
2 of the top 20 prospects in baseball are in Bowie. But let me just look here. Yeah, let's wrap it up in a second. I think there are a couple more questions, but we might be going to Delmarva too because they're 56-21 so far this season. So
are you planning in your? This is interesting. So when OOTP 22 comes out, I wonder if they'll adjust the minor league. I'm assuming they'll adjust the minor leagues to do the.
Yeah, I would think so. Yeah, so I don't know how you're going to carry over your. Well, no, I mean, I guess it just won't up to those things. Yeah. I'm
kind of, like I don't mind from as a baseball fan, I don't mind necessarily that my minor league system for like the real life Orioles will be smaller to follow. And I think the draft league is going to be interesting. And I'm disappointed for all the cities, all the little towns in America that are about to lose their minor league baseball team. That sucks. Yeah. 1, because some of them are in places where people don't have a lot of other pro sports to watch. And 2, it drives the local economy. But I also understand why baseball needs to contract because they're paying guys like nothing who, when such a small percentage of them even make the majors. So something kind of had to change there. But from a game perspective, man, I love having a deep minor league system.
Yeah.
That's not going to be fun necessarily from a
game.
Only
having 4 teams, right.
But from a real life perspective,
we missed that last question.
It's not cool from a real life perspective. What's about to happen to some of these towns, especially.
Right.
What question did we?
You skipped it. You had Kenneth's up, but we didn't answer it about the book.
Oh yeah, I have not read that book.
I bought it. I read bits and pieces of it. It's kind of book I'd pick it up and read like a little snippet. I didn't find it engaging. Well, I love the material that it covers. It basically, it's basically like the book about how to play the percentages and what to do, how to play each situation. When to bunt, not bunt, etc. And it'll tell you what the percentages say about every situation. I found all that fascinating. As a book, I didn't find it something I could sit there and read for like 30 to 60 minutes, just cover to cover, or anything like that. But I read it in bits and pieces, kind of. I've not read Smart Baseball by Keith Law, but I do like Keith Law. I'm not sure why I haven't read that book.
I read his stuff on Twitter.
Yeah, no, Keith Law is great. Yeah.
Yeah. A fake YouTube recommendation. Aussie Villains, really good. Exciting play-by-play for OTP and Football Manager.
Okay. I think I might have watched one of his Football Manager videos.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely like watching some of the Football Manager stuff because for me, I'm like when I started playing that, I knew baseball. I had to learn the game and how it all worked, but I knew baseball. Soccer, I don't know. I mean, I know like 5% of soccer compared to what I know about baseball, but I really liked playing Football Manager when I messed around with last year's version of the game.
Yeah,
that's a cool game. By the way, I should get a quick plug in for something soccer related. Anybody watching Ted Lasso on Apple TV? I've been trying to get Pat Holden into this show, but Ted Lasso is like my new favorite show. I watched it in like 3 days about a month ago, and I'd watch it again.
I'll have to sign up for an Apple TV trial.
7-day trial, Pat Holden. You got to do it.
And you could also plug the Baltimore Blue Crabs hockey.
We should talk about the Blue Crabs. That's my fake hockey team that I am. So Kenneth is into Ted Lasso. Yeah, it's such a good show. It's so positive, man. I loved. It was exactly what I needed. It's a great show to come out in 2020. For as much upheaval as there's been this year, that like the positivity brimming from that show is just awesome. The Baltimore Blue Crabs are my fake hockey team that I do computer versus computer simulations of in on an Xbox using EA Sports NHL. And so if you like hockey and you want to watch my fake hockey team play, just twitch.com/Baltimore Blue Crabs or
YouTube. You just put it in there.
On YouTube. Oh, did you just throw the YouTube link in?
Yeah, I think that's it. Yeah. It doesn't hyperlink though.
It doesn't. Yeah, it won't hyperlink. Yeah, just actually go ahead, write this down. Get out.
Yeah. /UCACR.
I'm going to read it to you real slow.
Wait, no, that's not a B. That's sorry. That's an O and an O.
Okay, let's take it from the top. Is it HTTP or HTTPS? Do I need the www or can I just go straight to youtube.com?
Yeah.
It hyperlinked.
Oh, wow. It must hyperlink. We're looking at it in the studio.
In the studio, yeah. We're using StreamYard to do this broadcast. Somebody asked, how often do you go live? Well, this kind of live where Pat and I are on screen, this is the first time we've ever done this. I've never been on. This is my debut on his channel. Very exciting for me. I've actually been looking forward to this, and it's been very fun. We need to do it again.
Yeah.
But Pat goes live a lot for gameplay, either playoffs, sometimes opening day, sometimes you've done it for drafts.
Yeah. A couple times a month I probably do it, right? Yeah. But if I'm in the playoffs, it happens a lot more.
So we got a vote from Kenneth to bring this back.
All right. Kenneth has spoken.
I don't know if we've missed anybody, but hold on, a couple more and then we'll shut it down. Juan said I started watching baseball 2 years ago, and the thing that called my attention the most was the amount of stats they keep. That's the reason I love OOTP. I think even like when I was a kid, like keeping score at a real game was so fun. There's so much. The stats in baseball are one of the best parts. And baseball on the radio. I love baseball on the radio, man. Yeah,
agreed. And I think I don't know how to say this. Like one thing I love about baseball on the radio, but also like it also lends itself for the same reasons to like being able to like put it on and turn the volume up when you're at the house, like turn on a game on the TV, but you don't have to sit there and watch every pitch.
Yep.
You can be doing stuff and listen to it.
I mean, I told you this in one of the chats, but I had to, like 2 different times at least, I've had to do something where I had to run out while you were in the middle of a live broadcast. Right. The other night, I had like a grocery order to go pick up. So I just got in the car with my phone and listened to the audio. And I couldn't see the screen anymore, but I just listened to you call the game. It was great, man. It was like the night you did the World Series, I think night 1 of the World Series against the Brewers. I just listened to the audio of you call the game, and it held up fine, man. Just the audio held up fine.
That's funny.
Peace out, JP. Thanks for coming in and asking questions and commenting, and everybody. This was really cool. Pat, anything you want to say to everybody before we sign off?
No, I think you covered it. Thanks. This was fun. Thanks for putting it together.
Yeah, man. Thanks for being available. I know you got a lot going on in your life as you
ride a sports team.
As you ride the YouTube roller coaster to fame, and that you're busy in the warehouse a lot of nights down in Baltimore managing this team, but it's cool. And I mean, you've been so busy managing this team, I feel like we don't get to catch up like this as much as we used to. I could keep throwing comments up here all night, but the Cubs. Yeah, man. Those when I was a kid, it was like Cubs were on and
The Braves.
WGN, and Braves were on TNT, and like wherever you went in America, those two teams were on. In addition to if you had a local team,
They're on TBS, weren't they? Weren't the Braves TBS?
that's what I meant. That's what I said. Austin, Austin, Massachusetts.
Are you going to the mall later? All right.
All right, man. Have a good night.
Thanks for doing it.
Thanks, everybody. I'm shutting this thing down. See people in the comments on YouTube.
All right. See you guys.
Later.
Bye.